How did you feel about the Madrid Derby UCL edition? How did you feel about the unholy beatdown that Arsenal gave PSV? Nasty stuff to watch. Seeing them get trashed in front of their family and friends. But hello, I'm Adrian. In a new place. Well, the same apartment, different room as my dad and I are renovating the other room. See? You may still hear some drills banging now and then as he went back to it. But I took a break to watch the matches. I did. I would never let you guys down. So here we go. Massive victory for Aston Villa away to a side that had defeated them previously in this competition. One thing I will say off the top here though, guys, is that I do feel for Club Brugge in some regards. I find that the scoreline wasn't exactly representative of the flow of this match. The gap between these two sides when it comes to general play wasn't that much. In fact, Club Brugge controlled the match more often. But controlling the match doesn't matter if you don't put away your chances. And that's where Club Brugge failed or were denied. Namely that chance that Hans van Aken had in the second half. If he converts that, we're maybe looking at a different outcome here, as that would have forced Aston Villa out of their shell. So credit to Mings though. What a clearance, my goodness. Couldn't have asked for a better start if you're Aston Villa. Leon Bailey with a clean finish in just the 3rd minute to get the early advantage, but Club Brugge hit back just under 10 minutes later, a cutback to De Kuiper, and he rolled it into the corner. But to lose to that own goal in the 82nd minute from Michele, oh man, a horrible own goal. Brilliant finish if that's at the other end of the pitch, but horrible own goal. And then a penalty from Asensio to make it 3-1. Great lead heading back to Birmingham for Aston Villa, but a hill to climb for Club Brugge. It was not a day for the underdogs on Tuesday, as PSV got manhandled in their own home against Arsenal. It was just too easy for them, which isn't a massive surprise because PSV's form has sort of been on a knife's edge. Good in moments, but also clearly struggling as they blew a big lead in the Eredivisie as well in the standing. They're now 8 points behind Ajax. I think they had an 8 or 9 point lead at some point this season. That's how badly they have fallen off. So you have Jurrien Timber converting a header from a looping cross to the back post. Then a nice team goal from Ethan Nwaneri. Well worked from Arsenal. Declan Rice with the final ball to Nwaneri. And then a bit of a scrambly goal from Marino. Striker Marino, that is. But a lifeline right at the end of the half to give Noah Lang a chance from the penalty spot. And he took it. Could the comeback be on? No. But in that first half, Lewis Skelly could have been sent off in the 25th minute. A bit lucky here, as another referee could have given a second yellow for that kind of challenge. Arteta clearly identified that was on the edge, as after the 3rd goal, he hauled off Lewis Skelly. Play it safe, right? In the second half, PSV supporters were watching through fingers. Odegaard on 47 minutes, Trossard on 48 minutes. It was ugly stuff if you're a PSV supporter, especially in the stadium. Imagine paying that money to see your side get smoked in the Champions League. 7 goals. The whole squad was getting in on it. Tomiyasu actually scored from the medical room, I believe. This was much needed if you are of the Arsenal persuasion, as after 2 matches without scoring a goal, they lit up the scoreline like that. Really nasty stuff for PSV. But if you're an Arsenal supporter, it's nice to know that this tie is essentially over already as you take it back to the Emirates next week. 7-1 on the road. Ooh. Now, as I mentioned in the preview, I love the idea of Valverde starting at right back, even if it takes from Real Madrid's midfield, because he just adds so much from the right back position, not to mention some defensive chops as well, some great moments from him defensively. Just a pure footballer. That's what we were watching out there. And wouldn't you know it, he would provide the first piece of magic, launching an attack, as mentioned that he could, with an inch perfectly weighted through ball to Rodrigo, who was brilliant in the early match, cutting inside to power a left-footed strike past Oblak. Beautiful goal from Real Madrid. From the through ball from Valverde to the footwork and finish from Rodrigo, very lovely stuff. But shortly after, Rodrigo would cause more issues and could have won a penalty, but the French ref Clément Turpin waved it off. Seen that given before, for sure, but just because you've seen it given before doesn't mean it should have been given, and I was generally okay with that one not being awarded as a penalty. I could understand why it would be given. I was fine with it not being given. But in the 25th minute or so, Atleti started to come into the match more, started to trouble that Real Madrid back line, and did well to contain Real Madrid's front three for a while, which continued in the second half actually. Not a lot of joy, especially for Mbappe, who was iced out of this match for the most part. But for example, with Atleti being the team in the ascendancy, in the 27th minute, chance for Atleti. Fede Valverde did excellently with to get in front of Samuel Lino and clear it away. Brilliant from Valverde, but also a warning sign from Atleti, who would score shortly thereafter via Julian Alvarez. What a player. Cuts inside and powers a strike into the top corner, in off of the post. Stunner. Makes it 4 matches running that he has managed to score. But in the second half, speaking about great goals, Brahim Diaz sat Jimenez down with his delicate footwork in the box. He was twinkle toes out there. Had Jimenez on his tippy toes, trying to poke the ball away and falling over, leaving Diaz to roll it into the corner. The quality of goals in this match was just delicious. I had a lovely chicken cutlet for lunch, but it paled in comparison to these goals. Actually, the cutlet sandwich was pretty incredible as well. And the thing is, the goal was kind of against the run of play at that point in the second half, as Atleti looked the better side, but a goal changes things, and that's what happened in this one, thanks in large part to Diaz, who continued to play excellently following his goal. That little roulette control of the ball on the edge of the box that he had a few minutes later, and he was hustling at the other end of the pitch as well. Fantastic performance from Brahim Diaz. Easy man of the match winner in the Rabona TV man of the match awards. Speaking of Mbappe being icy in the wrong way, ice cold out there in the wrong way. Real could have made it 3, but his squared ball to Vinicius was quite poor. Needed to come a step earlier and a moment sooner than Vinicius would have made it 3-0, I bet. Or 3-1, sorry. But they didn't, so 2-1 the final as they head to the Metropolitano. And they'll have Judith Bellingham for that one. Should be an incredible match. Borussia Dortmund looked quite comfortable in the first half, working their way through Lille relatively easily, grabbing a goal from Adeyemi, 2 matches in a row that he scored. Now, I'll have you know, the Kovac effect. Is he unlocking the young German again after he had a hot start and then cooled off in the middle part of this season? Anyway, his goal was the season so far, I should say. His goal was a stunner, though, a perfect volley from the edge of the box that was arrowed into the bottom corner. Oh, someone's cutting through the wall. Dortmund continued to look good throughout the first half, causing major issues while Lille were gasping for air, essentially. Non-existent performance from them. But speaking of which, Borussia Dortmund were non-existent in the second half, and with Lille's first attempt on target in this match, Harrelson managed to beat Kobel as he was falling. Honestly, that goal felt like it was coming based on how they were playing in the second half. Some attacks that never quite came off, struggling to find the final ball around the box, having their attempts blocked, things like that. Frustrating little things like that, but as I said before, a goal can change a game, and Lille continued to play well after that. But no other goals to speak of in this tie. Truly a game of 2 halves, really. Dortmund failed to continue their dominance in the second half. You started to see Jonathan David cause some problems now and then. Nothing too dangerous, though, but some looks, you know? You had Haraldson as a constant thorn in the side of the Dortmund defense, namely Rierson, but no other goals to speak of, so it's all to be settled in Lille. Lille probably leave this one feeling a bit aggrieved. There was the penalty shout when Jonathan David was hauled down. Seen that given before, absolutely. Then there was the ball hitting Schlotterbeck's hand. That one is a bit more borderline for me, but it certainly adds to the overall feeling of frustration if you're Lille, if you're Lillois. Hello, it's a new day. I showered to film this time. I don't stink this time. Okay, but just like last time, Benfica started incredibly quickly against Barcelona and nearly scored just 18 seconds into this match, with Atletico forcing a save out of Szczesny, fingertips away from scoring as he just pushed it around the post. And Barcelona's first big chance came from a great attack that saw Anatoly Trubin block Olmo's attempt, then Lewandowski's close-range rebound, and finally Lamine Yamal's attempt as well. It was a duel of keepers in this one. Insane triple save from Trubin. Absolute legend. What a buy he was. Incredible keeper. But if you're asking me, he's shit and nobody should look at him anymore. Just look away, guys. He's not good. Just remember, he's bad. Almost as bad as Pau Cubarsi's tackle on Vangelis Pavlidis after the Greek striker burst through the heart of Barcelona's defense. Fantastic run from Pavlidis, who has been hot in 2025. Desperate tackle from Cubarsi, kind of the only thing he could do. Not an indictment on Cubarsi in general, by the way. Fantastic talent. Important player for Barcelona for years to come. Everyone is capable of bad tackles now and then. It's not like it was a dangerous one, just not a very good one. Szczesny was quite good in this match. Better than last time, where he was steamrolling Alejandro Balde, etc. His save with his face on Ektorkolu was a favorite of mine. Now, there was a moment where Inigo Martinez wanted a card for Leandro Barreiro as Barreiro attempted to play the ball, but Martinez slid his leg under him, just got there a millisecond before, so Barreiro stepped on his leg in the process. Completely incidental contact, but Barreiro was given a yellow for it, as he should have been. And Inigo Martinez was given one because he couldn't stop arguing with the referee. Anything more than a yellow here for Barreiro is crazy. If Martinez was standing and Barreiro completely missed it and his studs caught his shin, sure. But Barreiro was kicking a ball. It was a natural movement, and Martinez went under him. So a very different situation. But anyway, despite being a man down, Barcelona continued to be very dangerous. The individual talent that they possess means that even a man down, they are a huge, huge threat. Pedri, Rafinha with that mazy run in the first half. Lewandowski's distribution was pretty decent in the first half. Yamal had moments, but Carreras did well against him to keep him relatively quiet. I don't know if you guys remember me saying this in the past, but Antonio Silva hasn't been himself this season. Yes, he has had some good performances now and then sprinkled in there for sure, but he's just too error prone and easily shaken this season, and he had a howler in the 61st minute, passing the ball perfectly into the path of who else but Rafinha, the wrong dude to give the ball away to in your own half. And to be fair to him, he still had a lot to do, but in the form that he's in, of course he picked out that bottom corner. 1-0 Barca, pain in the arsa for Benfica. Benfica pushed and came close a few times in this match, but Barca mostly did well to stop our efforts. João Rego looked good when he came on and caused a few problems here or there. Bellotti almost won a penalty, but was just a shoulder offside, a frustrating one for him. Szczesny was unbelievable. Barcelona, down a man since what, the 22nd minute or something like that? Win 1-0 in Lisbon. Ugh. Watching this match, and it felt like the definition of a routine win. You know what I mean? Inter weren't playing champagne football by any means, just controlling the match rather well and slowly suffocating Feyenoord, like Tyrion Lannister strangling someone who I won't mention, just in case you haven't watched Game of Thrones yet, even though that scene has got to be from what, like 10 years ago at this point? Come on, catch up. You're lucky I'm not spoiling it for you. But anyway, Tyrion Lannister aside, what I was getting at was that Inter won this one pretty casually, as Feyenoord still a completely depleted side, and with even fewer players for the next one, as Osman, I believe it was, will be suspended for the next leg. But this was just a defensive masterclass for the most part by Inter, as yes, Martinez had to make a few saves for Inter, no denying that, but they weren't the most dangerous of chances in my opinion. A few decent ones for sure, but Inter were doing a fantastic job of limiting them to mostly half chances. Inter could have had more goals, that's for sure, but were restricted to one per half. Marcus Thuram with a karate kick goal, crazy technique, lovely ball in from Barella. Then early in the second half, Martinez with a driven finish into the top corner. Nice stuff out there from Inter, and having a penalty saved. So all things considered for Feyenoord, it could have been worse. Their tough season continues against a tough, miserly team like Inter. Big task ahead of Feyenoord at the Giuseppe Meazza. A meeting of the top Bundesliga sides. Well, Kane had some criticisms of his performances of late for Bayern, but his opening goal, that header, was inch perfect and unsavable. Incredible whipped-in ball from Olise, and Kane attacked it beautifully with that powered, glancing header into the corner past Kovar in the Leverkusen goal. 1-0 Bayern at the Allianz Arena. Leverkusen almost answered Bayern's goal relatively quickly when Frimpong, who was a bit of a problem at times, early in this match at least, just couldn't beat Neuer. Nice save from the OG. For me, the best keeper ever in his day, especially with how he revolutionized the position and the degree of skill he had in doing so. Not the same keeper now, but hey man, I'll take a Manuel Neuer that's not at 100% of his powers. Unfortunately, he'd take a knock in this one and not be 100% later. This was a pretty rough match at times, as in a lot of fouls. There was the moment in which Xhaka tackled Kane, then Kane kicked out at him from the ground, causing him to fall. Then there was Florian Wirtz with a bit of a knee-on-knee with his own teammate. They forgot to turn off friendly fire, I think, which is a rookie mistake. Bayern would be gifted a goal in the second half. Well, gifted one, but they were definitely the better side in this match, so a gift only goes so far to describe it. But Kovar mishandled a high collect, leaving Musiala with the easiest of goals to make it 2-0. Looks like the winless run against Leverkusen is over. But as mentioned, Manuel Neuer went off with an injury. Looked like a knock to his right knee, judging from the abrasion. So the young man was called upon. And You know what I like about him? Short sleeves. You don't see a ton of keepers playing in short sleeves these days, especially in the German winter. What a man. But opinions on sleeves aside, Mukiele was deservedly sent off for a nasty rake on the Achilles of Coman, his second yellow. You could see it in his face that he knew right away. I mean, the shock in his eyes was pretty comical, to be honest. And at that point, given how Bayern were already the dominant side, it never felt like Leverkusen could pull themselves back into it, right? And it got worse when Tapsoba was grinding up on Kane. That man had him by the hips trying to pull him in. And when you do that in the box, you get in trouble. You give away penalties. It was an incredible self-destruction from Leverkusen. You had Mukiele getting himself sent off for a clumsy second yellow. You had Kovar before that with a charitable donation to Jamal Musiala. And then that stupid penalty to give away that Kane, of course, converted. Complete self-destruction from Bayer Leverkusen. Almost further self-destruction when Kovar was trying to play like Lionel Messi out there against Kane at the back. Nearly coughed it up. You had Musiala hitting the crossbar at one point. Wow. And I think that given the fact that Bayern was winless in 6 matches against Leverkusen, and given how poor and negative they were when they met last month, I think it was, most people expected Leverkusen to go through, or at least a tighter affair. But credit to Bayern, kept it steady, controlled the match well, then they took advantage of the Leverkusen mistakes. So, deserved win there for Bayern Munich. For me, PSG were the more dangerous side in the early exchanges of their match against Liverpool, which wasn't really a surprise given how talented they are and the form they're in, and the fact that they are playing at home. Dembele was playing more down the right than through the middle in this one, as Kvaratskhelia was taking to the middle more often in that front three of Dembele, Kvara, and Barcola. Dembele and Kvara were swapping positions regularly, however. Sometimes one would be down the right and they move into the middle, what have you. Dembele himself actually was a menace. He nearly set up an opener from João Neves, but it was Kvara who scored a brilliant goal. What a strike from the Georgian. Unfortunately, he was offside when Vitinha dished him the ball. Shame for him and PSG to have a goal like that against this opponent in this competition wiped out. They were deserving of a goal in that first half. Hey, editor Adrian here, just jumping in to talk about something that normal Adrian completely forgot to speak about, which was Ibrahima Konate pretty close to getting a red card. I mean, I think that he was lucky to not get one personally. I think the only reason why he wasn't given one was that it wasn't a clear and obvious error. I don't know what the thinking was there, but to me, that's a shove in the back of Bradley Barcola. Konate probably should have been sent off. You can't do that. That wasn't shoulder to shoulder. That's forearm into the back of Bradley Barcola. And a pushing movement, sending him to the ground when he's one-on-one with the keeper otherwise. I don't know, man. I think that Konate was pretty lucky to not get sent off there. The issues that Kvara, Barcola, and Dembele were causing were unbelievable. There was also that moment where Dembele was played behind, Alisson saved it, then Barcola had 2 bites of the apple, the second of which he skied. My goodness, maybe I was wrong in saying that they'll be deadly next season. They're looking deadly this season, but just hang on here. Kvaratskhelia in particular was amazing to watch, by the way. His close control, how he could weave through players. What a player to watch, man. PSG are just filled with ballers right now. And in the second half, the all-hands-on-deck defending from Liverpool had to continue as PSG were coming close over and over. Nearly an Olympico from, I believe, Dembele, if not for Soberstai's clearance at the last second there. But the funniest moment of the day, for me at least, was when Darwin was played in and Donnarumma came out to collect. Didn't get a handle on it, but felt like Darwin, I don't know, stamped on him or something. He was down injured, got up to berate the referee, then he went, and went down again off the pitch after he yelled at the referee. So he went down, he got up to yell at the referee, then went down again. GGO. But speaking of keepers, Alisson was unbelievable in this match. Easily the man of the match for Liverpool, maybe even the man of the match. I'm recording right after the game, so I don't know if he got the man of the match award. But he had some fantastic saves, including that flying stop on Doué. Great night from Mr. Becker on a night where Liverpool's attack just couldn't link up. A few counter-attacking possibilities, but nothing ever came off or looked like they would score until they did. Completely against the run of play. From the substitute Harvey Elliott, Darwin Nunez played it nicely into the path of Elliott to curl it in. Donnarumma did get a hand to it, but it still went in off the post. 2 shots from Liverpool, and with the first one on target, they score! Hate to see it if you're a PSG supporter. Definition of a smash and grab from Liverpool. Liverpool win thanks mostly to Alisson, to be honest. Huge from him, and they'll take that lead to the bank, to Anfield. So a pretty decent collection of matches, eh? I certainly had a blast, provided a nice break. You know, I'm still mostly trying to help out with the renovation, so I have someone else editing the Tuesday uploads, but I'll be back next week for more UCL coverage. Does that sound good to you? Okay, great. Love ya. Bye.